Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another session of Good to Great. And I have some good news for you. See, originally I was planning to do 8 sessions of going beyond doubt and hesitation. And now I've decided to make this an extra special bonus session because your going beyond doubt and hesitation will really start next week. Okay? That gives us time to enroll more people into this program. But this does not mean that you're wasting your time here today. So we plan to use it very productively. So it's a special bonus for all those who are attending. And the maximum benefits will be had if you are there in person only. Okay? So there are 2 parts of it. One part is what I want to do. The second part is what you want to do. You understand? The big advantage of being only 13 people or 12 people, plus 12 plus myself 13, is that we can use today's session to answer individual queries, clear individual doubts. Okay? Or if you are dealing with any specific issue in your life right now and you would like to have different point of view about it, that might give you an opening. That's your opportunity to do so today. All right? So I think I'd like to start with you guys, you coming up with whatever it is that you want to do. So it's over and above what you're going to get in this topic for this coming months. So who would like to start the conversation? So this, we've been working together for quite some time now, right? Yeah, Rajshekharan, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Yeah, if anybody wanted to start, otherwise I will start. I thought of start, sir.
Now you start.
Okay, sir. Sir, not this good to great. We in the early morning conversation, one of the session we were discussing about what are you creating today. The creativity
every second day.
Yeah. So creating things, we given the focus, and unless we have been doing what we are continuous to do, then we will be in regular routine life. So what we are creating, that is a focus. In that journey, we have a lot of uncomfort in that, and we tended to follow our regular routine pattern. For example, today also you told that you wanted to fight and struggle. That this it may be my regular pattern, but I think I am following that. What we can do to get out of that and move on that, sir.
Okay, first question would be, do you want to get out of that?
Sir, if there is easy joy and glory, all the life coming to us, easy things, then why should we struggle?
I don't know. You tell me. Do you want to create life?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So why are you not creating it? See, you actually gave the answer yourself before you asked the question also. So let us see if other people heard your answer. So any of you remember what our good friend was saying when he asked the question? So here's one thing, when somebody is asking a question, maybe a good idea to listen to that also. So how many of you actually heard Rajshekar? Number one. How many of you heard him and you understood him? And if you did not understand him, then what should you do? Yes, Neeti.
So I heard part of him where he was talking about why must we struggle in life. He was talking about ease, joy, and glory, and why should there be struggle in life. That is the portion that I heard. The rest I lost a little bit. because I went into my own thought process of why I agree or don't agree to what he is saying. That is where I lost the second part of what he was saying.
No, actually, you picked up the second part of what he was saying. You missed out the first part of what he was saying.
The first part I heard saying that he wants to create some things in his life. Any new thing in his life every day that you'll discuss in the early morning, empowering morning conversations.
Wow. Did he say that really?
No, he asked you whether about the creating new things in life, and that's when you said that we discuss every
There
second
was
day.
a whole long speech he gave before that also. See, that's where the key for him is, because he said it already. So I'm just checking to see, yeah, Shakti, you heard him?
I'm not wrong. He told that his pattern, his habit.
And I can bet with you, Rajashekaran himself was not listening to what he was himself saying. Okay, so Raja, why don't you tell again so that this time people listen? Okay. So my dear ladies and gentlemen, Induji and everybody else who's there on the call, see, when people are bringing up a point and discussing it, especially in a session like this one, it's a special session, right? It's like a bonus session I'm doing. Now, it's not only meant for me to hear, it's meant for all of you, no? Okay. And then we have some people who are facilitators or would be facilitators. They will also understand the importance of listening, I hope. So Raja, would you say it again? Because we really want to get what you are saying so that we can help you.
Yeah. Sir, in the early morning conversation, one of the day we were discussing about what are you creating today, and creating the things. If you are not creating the things, then whatever you are doing regularly, then you will get the same thing in the regular life. So if you want to improve in the life, something you need to be created. But when we are going in that mode, a lot of uncomfort thoughts and uncomfortability is coming. So then again, we are going into the regular pattern of our life. So instead of creating a mode, we are going into automatic routine life. So how we have to come out of this and getting into the really focus on the creativity. And second thing, as in the today's session, you told that I am stuck. I love struggle. I love fight. I love go in that way. But
let's
in fact, if the life is coming, if the life is coming with is joy and glory, why should I get into this kind of struggle, fight, and this thing? So how I have to get to the
okay, now here's my question to everybody. Did you hear what he said, the first part? Huh? So what did he say?
So how to be in the creation mode instead of default mode?
No. That though was in the end, he said, but the missed out because he was saying something else, no? Which was also very important. Because that's what he has to deal with. Now, you might have heard that, but you don't think it's important.
His thought process gets him back to the default mode when he tries to do something new.
And what is that thought process?
His
that to get into create mode is very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So he is not able to get into the create mode. So obviously he's given the answer. Then he's asking after that, how do I get into create mode? Interesting, isn't it? Because he's himself answered the question first, that I am not able to deal. It is uncomfortable for me to create. It is easy for me to stay in my present state, whatever it is. See, isn't that true for everybody? I mean, it's all right, you can stay and keep on cribbing and complaining about what's going on in life. And then somebody says, why don't you change it? Immediately your mind says, Ore Baba, I'll have to change so many things. My life will look different. That's very uncomfortable. I don't know what will happen if I change it. At least known devil is better than unknown devil, all that stuff. So Raja, what you're saying, I want to tell you what you said. You said, Mr. Sukhdeepak, you said in the morning session that create life and get out of my default mode. But when I create life, that's very uncomfortable. Okay, so it's easy to remain in the default state. Correct? After that, you said, so how do I get into the create mode? What do you think would be the most obvious answer?
Awareness.
Indu will say the answer. She knows it. And if
Sir,
she thinks you say it, then Kasa will say.
I'll just share what's running in my mind. I'm not sure if it's the correct one. What was going on, as he shared, was anyways we are choosing to create our life every single day. So why not choose a more empowering context, a way to be? Because either way, even if it's a difficult one, even if it's a default one, it's a choice that we are making to be in that default mode that very moment. So we've known that that's not working out for us. So why not create something that could be more empowering? So
yeah, but he's dealing with discomfort, no? Whenever he thinks of creating something, he's uncomfortable, so he's not creating it.
So what I was thinking was, anyways, being in the default mode is also causing some kind of despair. So we might as well create something that is uncomfortable yet might work out for us in the long run. That was what was running in my mind.
Yeah, very good point. Even if you stay in your default mode, you're not really happy, are you?
Yes.
Right? You know, I could have done
precisely
that.
what I was
I feel
thinking.
like Ambani, I can run this department better. Why are they not giving it to me and all that stuff? Then somebody says, hello, why don't you make an initiative and put your head out and create something? And the mind says, no, that's very uncomfortable. What if I fail? What if the things don't work out? At least now everything's working. I'm not very happy, but still it's working, no? I know how to deal with this, but if I create something, I don't know how I'll deal with it. Something like that, isn't it? And Rajshekhar wants to know, how do I deal with it? Interesting. Let's see what Krishna Prasad. So Krishna Prasad is an expert in this.
Sir, good evening, sir. I was thinking, maybe consciously he has to think, yes, it is going to be a struggle, but I'm going to go through this path and see the result. I think more or less what Hindu has said.
Yeah. Easy to tell others, no?
Yes. Right.
It is just to add, point A to point B is a default mode. The route is known, but point A to point C is a creative mode, which we don't know the route. So, and we don't know what is uncertainty, what if something happens. So that is a struggle and fear when we are getting into the creative mode.
So you said it's the unknown route, right? Did you listen to the conversation this morning with Kunen?
I yet to listen, sir.
No, but you were there, no, in the morning today?
Today I was not there, sir.
Oh, because he asked the same thing. He says lack of knowledge is not allowing us to, create something. So my answer was, you can choose to create something and then find out how to do it. You said point A to C, I do not know how to do. But as a human being, an intelligent human being, an expert in many things in life, you have the capability to find out how to get it done also, no? Even if you don't know, like a lawyer, when he takes on a case, he's not first thinking, do I know everything about this laws, about this case, this and that? He doesn't know. He takes the case, then he reads the law books and he finds the relevant sections of the law and then he fights the case. He knows, na? He knows where to look and get the answers. So do you. Interesting, isn't it? Yes, Kuldeep ji. We are not
that life can be comfortable but boring, or it can be little uncomfortable but satisfying. So when we create, it may be little uncomfortable, but it will always be satisfying. And we have a choice to choose what we want. We want boring life or we want a satisfying life.
Fulfilling life, yeah. Yes, Kasa. Let's get another point of view here.
So what we think certain also has a lot of uncertainty. Then the uncertainty has a lot of possible certainty.
Absolutely.
See, recently, I was going through a training and I had some pain, and I showed up to my physio. He said a new word, sir. I'm happy that you're having pain. It's a positive pain, he said. My muscles have grown up. What it hasn't grown in the last 20 years. He's happy that it has grown so much. Yes, it is painful. It has overgrown than my regular muscle. This was my operated leg in that. So there is default pain and there is a positive pain. When we go into uncertainty, yes, there is a temporary kind of a pain. But when we outgrow that, there is a lot of possibilities waiting out for there.
So you want to listen to what he said very carefully, okay? Kasha.
Yes, sir.
In the world today, even in your default mode, do you think there is any certainty in your life?
No, there is no certainty anywhere.
Exactly. And yet we try to cling on to this false feeling of certainty because I've been doing the same thing.
Because we've been comfortable doing that, we think there is a certainty.
Exactly.
See, what we think certain itself is uncertain. What we think uncertain could be certain also. We never know what it will unfold in future.
See, let me tell you, very right. I got your point. I think everybody got your point also. Let me talk a little bit more about it. Where is the certainty when COVID came and hit everybody? So many airline people lost their job. So many people in tourism lost their job. So many people's salary was cut down to 50%. Right? Was there any certainty? Did anybody know that can happen? That fellow KK, the singer, very great singer he was. He went for a concert to Kolkata and out of the blue, suddenly, heart attack and he died. Nobody could imagine that he will die. Was there any certainty in that? In times like this, I always remember what Helen Keeler used to say. Life, there is what? Security is a superstition. It does not exist for mankind. Security is a superstition. It does not exist for mankind. Life is a daring adventure or nothing. So if you want to be, like Kuldeep ji said, you want to be in the default mode, and then you want to be bored in life and dissatisfied in life and being a victim in your life, and then you want to watch movies for excitement. Our taste for adventure is fulfilled by watching TV, OTT platform, Netflix, Prime Video, YouTube, right? So 2-3 hours in the evening, we get fixed by watching somebody else's adventures. But when we want to create something in our own life, our mind is resisting it, isn't it? So let me do a little clearing with you. What energy, space, and consciousness can I be that would allow me to create my life? And everything that is times a godzillion, will I destroy and uncreate it all? So right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poads, and beyonds. Because here is a paradox. You understand, Rajshekharan, paradox? If you don't do it also, you're not happy. If you don't create also, there is no certainty. But you think there is some certainty because it's familiar. You understand? Something which is familiar, it feels safe. Something unfamiliar, it is a little frightening. So we are avoiding it. Right? And by the way, when we start the session next week, we actually dive into the topic. We are going to look into it. I mean, what is it that is making us hold back and not taking the leap of faith, you know? So thank you, Kasha. Thank you, Krishna. And thank you, Raja, for starting this discussion today. Yes, Rama.
Thank you, sir.
So in Kasha's words, default mode is chronic pain. Creation mode is positive pain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, creation mode is the growing pains that you have, no, when you're trying to grow up. अभी गीत जी अगर आपका एग्जांपल दे दूं आपकी परमिशन के साथ, Kunan, I'll just come to you in a minute. Can I give you an example?
Yes, sir. Why not?
So when I remember, see, Geet suddenly she was definitely not getting encouraged by anybody in her family to do what she wanted to do, right? So she was holding back. And one fine day, she said, nothing doing, main to karungi, and she's doing it, and very happily she's doing it, right? Did you not have to face some difficulty and, you know, what, like they say, growing pain, jisko kehte hain?
Yes, sir. Many phases came, and
eventually you were successful, right?
sometimes I used to give up also, but
then,
finally, by and by, slowly and steadily, yes.
so you did it, right? Because you were able to face the uncertainty, you were able to face the, you know, difficulties, you were able to face the discomfort. सामना किया आपने उन चीजों का.
Yes, sir.
If you're not able to face those challenges, and it's very interesting, before the challenge comes, only we have given up. Are you getting me, Rajshekhar? The challenge has not come yet. You're thinking, if I do this, this challenge will come. If I do this, this will happen. If I do it, if I fail this and this, so I will not do. So if you don't do, you failed anyway. But if you had accepted the challenge and then failed, see, sometimes you succeed, sometimes you don't, right? See, you all had little babies in your house. And have you watched them as they try to learn to walk? Now, there are two types of parents, you know. When one parent is the one, if the child falls, no, they'll be, "Arey, gir gaya, he fell down, oh baby, ye wo." You know, the child will start crying. Then he'll hesitate to walk next time. And then another parent will say, okay, get up. They don't even say anything. They don't even look at him. He's fallen down, he gets up, tries again, he falls down, he gets up, tries again, and very soon he starts walking. And when there are overprotective parents, the child takes more time to start walking. Have you seen that? If a child can walk, let us say within 6-7 months, he will walk after 1.5 years if overprotective parents are there. Same way, if you're teaching your child to do cycling. So how do we learn cycling? Papa is catching the cycle from behind and we are trying to drive the cycle, right? He has to leave the cycle at some point, right? But if the father is so scared of leaving the cycle that the child may fall, the child will never learn balance, no? Same thing we are doing to ourselves, no? We are not leaving the bike. We want to hold on to the present reality. We don't want the situation to change, which is uncomfortable. Isn't that so? Yes, KP sir. So before Kunan raise his hand, let us ask him to speak, then I'll come back to you, KP. Kunan.
Good evening, sir, and good evening, one and all. Actually, sir, I missed the initial part of the conversation, so I wanted to know what exactly is the discussion point, so that I can also contribute to the conversation. But it seems too late. Carry on.
Well, you heard his question, didn't you, before you left for your namaz?
No, I didn't put enough attention on that. My focus was somewhere else.
Yeah, so what he was saying was, or rather asking was, he says that in the morning conversations, you are saying get into the create mode and get out of the default mode. And because it is very challenging. It's very uncomfortable for me to get out of the default mode. So I'm not getting out of the default mode. So tell me how to get out of the default mode. That is what he said. Okay, and then we are discussing about that. Okay.
Well, thank you, sir.
All right. So KPG, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, this conversation reminds me when I was learning yoga about 18-20 years ago. In some of the asanas, physical exercises, the people used to say, ah, who, no. Then my yoga teacher used to say, no, this is not pain. The people used to say, sorry, it's paining. Then he used to say, no, when you get admitted in the hospital, what you get out of sickness, that is pain. So what you are getting now is not pain, it is ananda. Ananda means he means happiness. So he says, this pain is happiness.
Yeah, that is why they have songs also, no? Give me the sweet pain, you know. वो हसीन दर्द दे दो जिसे मैं गले लगा लूं. Wow.
I wanted to share that.
Oh, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The challenge is Shalaya. Can I share?
Yeah.
Because challenges are the part of our life. So, a Purana quotation, there's an old quotation that don't limit the challenges, challenge your limits. So, my request to Mr. Rajashekharan would be join us every morning in the empowering morning conversation, and you will get habituated to challenge the challenges, and that will be a game changer for your life. All such questions will never ever arise, because once upon a time I used to be in the same mind state like you, but now when after every day with Sukhdeepak Malvi sir, my mindset has got changed. So I always look for challenges where are there, so that I can challenge the challenge. So that's very important to shift that paradigm.
How about changing our vocabulary?
Sorry?
So what Kunail said is beautiful. I like it. Now I'm saying to everybody, how about changing your vocabulary? Suppose, you know, instead of putting a label, it's a label, na, judgment, or this is a problem. Or this is a challenge. Hello, patients. Everything that happens is an experience, is it not? Some of those experiences we are labeling as problem. We call it a problem. We judge it and call it problem. Some of them we call it challenges. How about we say, all right, this is another experience in life. And what can I learn out of this situation? Or what can I learn out of, you know, handling this situation masterfully? See, a situation can empower you or it can disempower you. Correct? Now, whether it will disempower you or empower you depends on who? On you, right? It depends on your point of view, like we say. So remember, I always say every experience is an opportunity to become a better version of yourself. So suppose my attitude is like this. Are you getting my point? अगर मेरा मानना ये है कि हर अनुभव जो है मुझे और बेहतर इंसान बनाता है, तो मैं उस अनुभव को लेबल नहीं दूंगा ना. I'll not say कि भाई this situation is problem, this one is a good one. I should always have the good one, not the bad one. But all of them are teaching me, no? See, all this is fine. Wonderful questions. What I would request all of you to start thinking is, by sticking in your default mode, by sticking in your default mode and not creating your life, how much of life are you missing out? Okay, should I repeat that? By clinging or like holding on to your default mode, by not letting go of your default mode, by not choosing to choose and make choices in your life, by not creating in your life, how much of life are you missing out on? How many opportunities are lost? See, there is one thing very uniform, it affects everybody, whether you're rich or poor or religious or non-religious, whatever you might be. एक चीज है वो तो होती रहती है ना, nobody can stop that. What is that? We are all going to be aging and getting older and older as the days go by. Correct? So every minute loss is an opportunity lost. So question to you all is, start thinking and reflecting on your life. See, we have a choice whether we want to stay in default mode. It's our wish, no? In any case, who created the default mode? Only we did. Are you willing to believe this? If I say that we only are creating our default mode?
Yes, sir. It's absolutely our own creation.
Right. So what does it go to prove? It proves that we have the power to create, no?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm creating my default mode, I can create any other mode I choose, no?
Yes, sir.
So why is it that we believe so much about the default mode and we want to stick to it, but we don't believe that we have the power to create anything else in our life? Why is that? Maybe a good question to ask yourself, right?
Is it because we have dealt more in the default mode, so it's just comfortably, or
it is more familiar, no?
yeah.
So this is the human condition, that we are comfortable with the familiar, not comfortable with the unfamiliar. What is the word for familiar? Geet ji, anybody can tell who's good in Hindi?
Mahavir.
Jana pehchana.
Parachit.
Right? How you say in Tamil, something which is familiar?
Palakkapatta.
Babri, that's a complicated word here. Palakkapatta. Is that correct, Rama? Sounds too big for familiar.
Yeah, that's right. Therindadu. Therindadu.
Something which you know, something you're familiar with.
Known. Yes, sir.
Correct. So we are comfortable with the familiar. So familiar, if you desire to always have something which is familiar, then we are creating a life which will always be the same, right?
There is another Tamil word also, sir. Parichayamanadu.
Means?
The familiar one.
Yeah. So, okay, now you guys are stuck in the word. So you lost part of the conversation, I bet. Okay, now you get off the word thing. Okay. What I'm saying is, if you are stuck to the familiar because you like the familiar, you are comfortable with the familiar, right? And you will go on creating familiar only.
True.
Then you will never create anything unfamiliar. So your life will remain the same. Now, Rajashekhar had his question asked in two ways, right? There was a second question which I did not answer. Are you there, Rajashekhar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today, when we started the session, I told you something. You were asking me about that only, no? Yes, sir, you said that you are liking it. That's familiar for you, no? It is familiar for you. Always there is some villain who's trying to make life difficult for you, right? That villain in your company who's making trouble for you. You like that, right? It's a very familiar story for you. So if you like that story, you'll go on running the same story in your life and complaining about it, no? I understand, it's very familiar. Like there was an actress called Meena Kumari. She would always do crying, sad roles, right? She was very familiar with that. And people like to see her for that. The moment they know it's a Meena Kumari movie, they know the bhi rona dhona hone wala hai. Lots of crying is going to. इम्तियाज भाई हंस रहे. आपने भी देखी है पाकीज़ा और वगैरह वगैरह पुरानी मीना कुमारी की मूवीज. क्या रुलाती थी वो बेचारी. So we are so attached to our story, no? Our life story is so familiar. Huh? And if you're a Tamil movie guy, then you will be singing that song very often, no? Which one? Ponal Pogatum Pora. It's a very interesting meaning that song has got. Anybody can translate that?
If let it go, let it go. If something is going, let it go.
Yeah. You know, if you...
But there is another there's another interesting Tamil song. It's a quite a motivating song. It is called Mayakama Kalakama. Is there a, I don't know, is there a kind of a Mayakam?
Unconscious.
Not unconscious. Is there a jitteriness, or is there a dilemma to do what? Is there pain in your heart? You know, is your wall, is your life is shaky? So just
hello. The unfamiliar is exciting also, no?
Yeah.
The unfamiliar is exciting, it is adventurous.
Yes, sir.
So the question you can ask yourself is, what are the unfamiliar things you will never create? Now some other song is coming. Enava, what is that song you're singing?
Which one, sir?
I don't know, some madam was singing some song in the background.
No, my mom was talking, sir.
Oh, I thought she was singing. Okay, you mute yourself now, otherwise we'll be hearing more songs. Okay, so very interesting conversation you started, huh, Rajashekaran? So if you want to create something, would you like to create the same old thing?
No, sir. Something better I wanted to create.
So what's stopping you? See,
my fear, sir.
What?
My fear.
You want to create fear?
No. You asked something. What's stopping you? I told fear.
He said this fear is stopping, sir.
Now that I know that you have already said it. When you do something unfamiliar, you're having fear, right? That is over. I'm asking you, what are you going to create now that is unfamiliar? See, lot of wishes and desires we have, isn't it? I wish I could do that. I wish I was the MD of the company. Tomorrow, if they tell you to become MD of the company, you will not take the job only. Will you? Huh? Right, let me ask my good friend KP. KP, if these guys tell you that you become the head of this thing in your company, will you take it?
Is it a job or what, sir? Is it a...
See, first thing he'll ask, is it a job? If it is a job, I will take it.
Sir, this reminds me, sir, when I was in my first startup company.
Your company says to you that, look here, what's your name, KP, we want to start this new project, okay? And we are looking for someone who's an entrepreneur-minded fellow, okay? We are willing to fund you also, okay? But it's your project, you run it. We will not interfere in it. You tell us how much funding you want. Will you do it? It's not a job, but give honest answer.
I will see the risks in the answer.
There also, there's always a risk, you know. Yeah, when you're, what is that man, Narayan Murthy, whatever, he started his company, there was no risk of it. See, if you do anything unfamiliar, there will be a risk.
There will be risks. Yeah.
Right? There is, let's say, see, in the old days, no, when I was young, that time they were saying 30% risk was acceptable and hope of success 70% they would be looking at. Now it has changed. Nowadays, 60 to 70% risk is acceptable. You know that in today's scenario.
So in today's scenario, 80 to 90% is risk. Chance of success is at 10%.
And still people are doing.
Yeah.
So now look at it this way. We are discussing, okay, don't have to feel bad about it. If your default mode says, I will not take a risk in my life, can you create anything in life?
No, sir.
Opposite
No.
of,
Not possible, sir. Right.
what is the opposite of risk?
Opposite of risk. You mean safe?
Reward.
Safety, security.
Safety, security. Yeah.
Yeah. So little while ago we were talking, is there really any safety and security in today's world? It's only, you feel safe in certain things and you don't feel. But actually there's no safety, no? Food for thought. So who's stopping us from creating a life that we want?
Okay.
Are you getting it? Our so strongly entrenched this one. See, even though you did not want to take a risk in your life, right? Still you went through certain situations, correct?
Right.
Now some people will say, all right, I was taking all precautions, I went through this phase, so it's all right to take a risk in life. Another person looks at the same situation, he says, my God, that was very bad situation. I'll never allow it to happen again in my life. So I'm going to only play 200% safe from now on. The choice is yours, no?
Right.
But again, after paying 200% safe, is there really any safety in this world? You're a technical guy, right? The world is changing so rapidly today in the world of technology. Whatever you know can become obsolete in 1 year's time.
Yes, sir, easily. Yeah.
Where is the security then? But suppose my default mode says, no. Sir, I lived 27 years of my life like this. Never took any risk ever. Except some. So see, if I had not fought with my father, okay, I would have never took a risk of doing something on my own. I told my dad, from now I'll not take any money from you. I don't want. You don't have to send me for US for further studies. To hell with you. I will get my own job. So I took a job which was 50% of my pocket money. That was a risk, Because if I failed and then went back to my dad and said, Daddy, I'm sorry, I should have listened to you. That was a bad situation, right? But because I jumped and I was bold, I did what I did. And today I'm sitting and talking to you because I took that risk. Why did I take that risk? You know why? Because I believed in myself. I was very young. I was 19 years old at that time. But I knew one thing, that if I put my mind to it, I can do it. So you have to ask yourself this question, Raja and KP and everybody else. Do you believe in yourself? And what will it take for you to start believing in yourself? So don't answer that. Let's listen to what Abdul Rahim has to say. Yeah, Abdul Rahim.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, sir. When we had bad experience, previous bad experience, it is very difficult to take the risk again. So, we always afraid to do the same thing, because so many obstacles will come to stop doing again. So
then you will be like millions of people who get stopped.
okay, sir, it's okay for the first time. And the second time also, when we fail in the same thing, can we do the third one again? Because
Maybe
it's,
every failure is telling you something, no? That's why I would not label it as a failure. I would say, okay, all right, things didn't turn out the way I wanted it. Okay. Now, what is it teaching me? You get some lessons out of it. Then you apply it to whatever you choose to do next. It might even tell you that this is not the route for you to take, choose another route.
yeah, okay, sir. But even the people around you will not allow you to go forward. They will stop you because this is another.
Abdul, our problem in life is these are the situations all of us have to face, right?
Yeah.
Even the fellow who became a billionaire, he had to face that. So what's the difference between him and me and us? That fellow said, listen, I have made a choice. I'm going to do it. You keep saying what you want to say. And the same people who are discouraging him, they will applaud him and say, wow, what a man. He has done such a wonderful thing in his life. They don't believe in you. I understand. They don't believe in you. Okay. They don't have faith in you. My question is, do you have faith in yourself? Are you willing to believe in yourself?
Yes, I do. But there is something stopping. Should I do it or no? So that question comes.
Yeah. So we'll deal with it. It always comes, and one has to deal with it.
Yeah.
That is why this forum is there, where we can help you to deal with it also. So there are now 8 sessions going to happen after today. And the purpose is this only. Going beyond doubt and hesitation. This is what the topic is all about.
Thank you.
The question I want you to ask yourself again and again, again and again. Am I willing to believe in myself? Am I going to let a few unsuccessful chapters of my life define me and limit me? See, sometimes we have been very successful, sometimes we have not been very successful. All right. Am I going to be defined by the number of times I was not successful, or am I going to be defined by the times I am successful? There are so many examples I could give you. You can go and search on the internet how many times people failed, but they never gave up, but they were successful in the end. You know that KFC chap, Colonel Sanders, at the age of 65. How many attempts he made before he was successful? The fellows, the cycle mechanics who invented the aeroplane, how many attempts they made before they were successful? They did not have unlimited money or anything with them. They were only cycle mechanics. They believed in their vision. They believed in what they wanted to do. Na? Yes, Kunen.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Just a question coming to my mind when you say about you taking an action and your conversation with father. Was there element of anger or arrogance in that moment, or it was a conscious, confident choice?
Both, I would say. Because my father said to me, he said to me, तुम्हारी औकात क्या है? These are his words. जो तुम चड्डी पहनते हो ना, वो भी मैंने दिया तुमको. जो तुम पतलून पहनते हो ना, वो भी मैंने दिया है. तुम्हारी हैसियत क्या है? You are who you are because you're Colonel Malvai's son. Who are you? How dare you tell me you'll do what you want? मेरे से पैसे लेते हो, मेरे घर में रहते हो, और मुझे कह रहे हो कि मैं करूंगा अपनी मर्जी. He was right, no? I'm just using that as an example because if I was not pushed that day by the situation, I would have never taken the risk. Na? My point is, why are we waiting to be pushed? There's a very famous man, Buckminster Fuller. He became a mathematician. He became an architect. You know, there's something called the Geodesic Dome. Have you seen that dome with hexagonal? It looks like, you know, like a beehive kind of a dome. It was invented by that man. At the age of 65, he was a complete failure. He was about to commit suicide by jumping off the bridge. And then he said to himself, okay, look, if I've decided to kill myself, my life is over anyway. So let me start my life all over again. And he did that. He went and studied mathematics and this and that and became a very famous man. My point is, if you don't create your life, right, sometimes life will push you to do so also. So why are we waiting for life to push us here? जब तक हमको चपट नहीं पड़ेगी तब तक हम कुछ नहीं करेंगे. I mean, why should, you know, Providence have to knock us on our head? Then only we'll get into action. Point thinking, worth thinking, isn't it? Now, all of us here, see, we are kind of middle-aged or senior citizen type of people, right? But still, I'm saying, is it too late now? And I don't want you to think that, look, Sukhdeepak is trying to push us to do something which we don't want to do. I want you to look at your own dreams and your aspirations and your desires. How many of you have just left it? Somewhere your mind says, you know, if I really wanted, I could have done this and I could have done that also, but I did not do it. But you can do it now, no? Orenji, does it answer your question?
Yes, sir, makes sense. So there should be some, people say that defining moment.
No,
and that moment must.
I did not say there should be some defining moment. That is your conclusion.
Yeah, okay. No.
Listen,
Yeah,
you
I take it
make
back.
a choice right now. Okay?
Yeah.
Or you can wait for something terrible to happen in your life that will push you out of your comfort zone and leave you no choice. अब तो बेटा तेरे को करना ही पड़ेगा. For me, it was a situation like that. Okay. Otherwise, I would have been carrying on like a bloody elephant that I was. Are you getting my point, Gune? या कुदरत के धक्के का इंतजार करते रहो या खुद ही क्रिएट कर लो. Yes, Kasha.
So even the people we say that, you know, who has taken risk and all that, at a point in time, they could have been a situation they would have avoided, and where in a situation they would have been through something very challenging or this thing that could have changed their
Sir,
point
in
of
the
view.
same situation, I know many people who are broken and destroyed also.
True.
Okay.
True.
So
true.
there are some people who use it as a springboard to their success. Some people get destroyed by
True.
it. So some people
True.
listen and they hear and they learn from that. I know a person who built this huge enterprise, but he was not willing to listen, so he destroyed it.
Sorry, sir.
You heard it. What did you hear, Kasa?
Someone building an
He had built
enterprise. Up to that,
which was a huge enterprise. And then he destroyed
Okay.
it because of his own
Okay.
arrogance and unwillingness to hear or to listen to people.
Which industry,
I'm not at
which
the
company
liberty
is
to
this, sir?
say, but I can tell you I was his partner for a few years.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, it's not okay to say. Ganesh, you also wanted to say something, right? But first, Kuldeep ji, and then we'll come to Ganesh. See, Kasa, you have inherited a situation. Did you ask for it?
No, sir.
Exactly. Now this can knock you down on your ass and you'll never get up. Or you will use it as a springboard to become the extraordinary Kasa that you are. Are you getting
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes,
So
sir.
people have these kind of situations. Some of them come out with shining colors. And so far you have. Yeah, so you are
Yes,
almost
sir.
getting sucked into the morass, right? Then you came out of it because you are willing to take
Yes.
the help of friends and listen to people and all, right? So you're
Yes, sir.
70%
Yes,
out
sir.
of it, if you ask me.
Yes, sir.
But if you had not done something about it, then what would have happened? Same thing could have destroyed you also, no? Your health was going bad,
True, true, true,
right?
true, true,
Etc. etc. So
true.
it's the same for everybody, right? Small or big situations will happen. Some of us will call it catastrophe. My God, I failed. What happened? They'll take more time to recover from it. The other fellow says, hello, this is another opportunity to become a better version of myself. So what action should I do now? What, space and consciousness should I be? Then he looks for possibility and comes out of it.
True,
Yeah, and
true.
those are the moments when you realize, hello, how much are you going to avoid risk in your life? Whether you like it or you don't like it, whether you avoid risk or not, it is always there. It's going to come now or later, sometime or the other. So you might as well create something and have an exciting life, right? Okay, again, Gunen, we'll come to you. Right now, we've got Kuldeep ji in the queue, and then our friend Ganesh, and then we come back to you. All right.
सर आपने उम्र के बारे में कहा, कर्नल सैंडर्स के बारे में, तो एक कहने का मन करा कि उम्र समझाती है कि जिंदगी की शाम हो गई है। उम्र समझाती है कि जिंदगी की शाम हो गई है, पर दिल कहता है कि महफिल तो शाम को ही शुरू होती।
That is the spirit, no? That is why people don't give up in whatever age they might be,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes.
Right. So it might be the evening of my life, and some people say, hello. So what? It's the evening. The party begins in the evening only.
अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई।
हाँ बिल्कुल, अभी तो पार्टी शुरू हुई है. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, Ganesh.
Sir, I'd like to share something where actually in the office, there was a position of a manager that's come up in not in my current role, but in completely different domain. I'm in the procurement field. It's come in the finance area. Apparently, my thought process went, shall I apply? Not. I was in a dilemma whether I should or not. And I just closed my eyes and then I have gone ahead and applied for it.
Yeah.
And the universe is working because people are out coming to help me to prepare myself for that role.
So you see,
I have taken the first step and the way is just getting formed. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, so good. Congratulations. So you're not one of those people saying, I don't know anything about finance. How will I handle it?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is not about when we do it. It's all about how we do it.
You can always find out how, no? My simple formula for everybody here is, this is a question. How can I make it possible?
Yeah.
Let me find out how to make it possible.
It's a choice, not decision.
Yeah, let me find out how to make it happen. Simple.
That's true, sir. Like when we take a decision and we go towards that, the nature becomes supportive. The people around it will find a way to.
When you make a choice.
Sorry, sir.
When you make a choice, that will happen.
True. When we choose it, we will get two kind of support. One is direct support where people will come and help us. And there is an indirect support. People will not help us. Through that, we will get to learn it and we will get it.
Yeah, then you will learn to find your own way out of it also, no?
Exactly.
Okay, so let's listen to Kunen and then let's listen to Induji after that. So where are you, Induji? I'm not see you. All right.
I'm here.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was just wanting to share how it's beautifully tying up to what Mr. Rajashekhan was saying some time ago. Point A to B, I know. And point A to C, I want to get there, but I don't know how to. Mr. Ganesh's sharing was just an answer to his question, I think. He decided to take it up, and now on the go, he'll figure out how to make that happen. Maybe this is a live demo for us of
Indu,
how
I'll
things
tell you
can-
something.
Mm,
Okay. There is a classic uh, example of John F. Kennedy.
mm,
Without consulting his advisors or anything, he just announced that man shall set foot on the moon in 10 years' time.
mhm,
So everybody was very upset. They said, how can we cannot do it?
mm,
We don't know how to do it.
mm.
So he said, well, why not? So one guy said, because we don't have the alloys.
Okay.
So John F. Kennedy said, all right, so what will it take for you to develop those alloys? What do you require from me? I will give you all the resources. Now you develop the alloys. Another guy said, sir, we do not have the computational power.
Mhm.
He said, all right, good. So find out how to make that available. What resources you want from me, you let me know.
Mhm.
Third guy said, we don't have those re-entry shields.
Mhm.
So he said, all right, so find out how to get those re-entry shields made. And with that attitude, they put the man on the moon in 8 years' time. So when people want to take decisions, first they'll always look at what is possible for me, what do I know, what is it that I don't know. And then if I am having more plus points, then I'll make my decision.
True.
Right? Now, if Gopal was to do that, he will not even apply for the job.
True. Very
The
true.
other fellow says, okay, I want this, I'm going to go for it. And then he says, all right, let me find out how to make it possible.
Absolutely. In fact, your sharing, sir, was just helping me recall even Ratan Tata's quote. I mean, classic example where he was asked, how do you make the right decisions? He says, I just go ahead, make my decisions and do what it takes to make it right. He says.
Yeah.
So
that's what
that's how it works.
All the big movers and shakers of this world, and everyone here has the capability to do that.
True.
All it takes is to make that choice.
True.
But we are so used to making decisions in our life now. And all decisions are made coming from where? Be safe.
Yeah.
Be in familiar territory. My life should not get shaken up. Hello, if you do something dramatically big,
Yes.
your life will get shaken up.
Absolutely. Yes.
So what's the problem with that?
Yes.
I mean, if you want your life to remain the same, then you're doing fine, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, you're earning a living, you're feeding your family, and what more you can ask for?
True.
When
Two of the things, as you were talking to all our friends here, two things that kept popping up in my mind constantly. One, in a lighter note, this is, if you want to make that omelette, you got to break some eggs. So some things you'll have to break if you need to make, acquire something. And on a serious note, I was the things that we read about. If you want that tree to grow, that seed has to shatter, break itself up, and disintegrate itself to allow that tree to to germinate into what it becomes over the years. So some things will become deformative and you get used to it and then master it, and then it becomes something that you thrive on. So
yes, we'll have to go through the growing pains, right?
Yes.
Even when our teeth was growing, there was a lot of pain in our gums.
True.
But we like they say, no pain, no gain.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. So here's one thing for all of you. Thank you, Induji. See, now, this, you can come once in a week and have a nice intellectual discussion over here. Okay? I don't have a problem with that also. Hello? We can have this nice intellectual discussion and talk and stuff, right? Or you can come here and use these conversations to make a huge difference to your life, right? And, actualize and kind of be the great person that you are. And some of you are already doing great things. Like Viru is writing a book. Would you like to tell us something about your project, Viru? If you're there.
Yes, sir. I will tell you. I can share. Good evening.
Good evening.
My book is half the way through. It was part of one of my own self-development to set some base level, to brand myself, to start with something. I found this is the best way. Book writing was one element where I show my interest or passion for a certain topic. Then I publish it. Then I move it more into the social media and digital media. Then, as Sukhdeepak said, instead of somebody kicking me or Takdir kicking me, I started preparing myself for the next step where I have a fallback arrangement. I can do the business consulting beyond what I do, or I can do a business coaching for the emerging entrepreneurs, or I can do the leadership coach. So it will open up multiple opportunities for us. So
Or
this
he
is a
can
starting.
become an MD of some company also.
Maybe that is also because brand building is one part of that element. Actually, I can get more visible. I can contribute. Somebody may question, hey, Guru, how can you do? You're already holding a job. Yes, I can say I contribute towards emerging students and entrepreneur startups free of charge. So there is no conflict of interest with the current company.
Absolutely.
Okay. So there are many ways and means. The ideas
And
can be shared.
he can head a big Colmagarate tomorrow.
Now he can. We are doing the G2G session.
Because when I start writing, that will make me to learn more and more before I give it to somebody. I wrote it, gave it to some of the people to read it. So it is halfway through. I think end of mid-July or end of July, the first cut should be out. It goes for a proofreading, then the final print. So we target to make it as the best selling in the segment.
So now just to give you some background on Viru. Viru is a very successful, very, very senior executive in a very big German company already, right? He could stay in that job, retire in that job and be very happy because it's a very well-paying job and everything. Okay? But he has made use of whatever learnings he's been getting and he's taken the leap forward. Am I right, Viru?
Definitely, I got a lot of inspiration with last 2 years or 1.5 years of sessions, what I'm going through. Either many of the things directly came from this platform itself, nothing outside. Many of the inspirations came from here. Then plus other sessions I attended as a part of additional learning, which were self-financed. All put together, it gave a really creative juice. And my book title is also Creativity and Innovation and the Reinvention. It goes around these topics.
Exactly. Beautiful. Congratulations. So why I shared this example is you can use this as something more than just a nice, weekly satisfying intellectual exercise. Okay. You can make a change. You can make a huge difference in your life. So please use it to do that. That's my request to all of you. All right. On that note, if you have no more questions, then we say bye-bye and see you next week. So now you've got some time to enroll your friends and family into this program. Okay. So going beyond doubt and hesitation, the topic first session will be next week. Today was a preparation for you guys, a special bonus session that I thought I'll give you. Okay. So any questions, anything you'd like to ask before we say bye-bye? Yes, Kunan.
आप तो मुझे भूल ही गए थे.
नहीं भूले भाई.
Just a quick thought, what Induji mentioned about the egg and omelette analogy. This is also true that when you get the chicken by hatching the egg, not smashing the egg. So when you want omelette, you have to break the egg, but when you want chicken, have patience. And कुलदीप सर की नजर आप एक शाम की बात हुई तो topic related to topic is that दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं नाकाम ही तो है, दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं नाकाम ही तो है, लंबी है गम की शाम, शाम ही तो है, गुजर जाएगी ये भी.
So can you translate that also?
दिल ना उम्मीद तो नहीं नाकाम ही तो है. My heart is not hopeless, maybe unsuccessful. It is just
maybe a little disappointed.
Maybe, yeah. It's just an evening. It'll go. We'll have another morning, another day. So why too upset?
Absolutely. And I like that example. See, even for the egg to hatch, it has to be fertilized first.
Yes, that's what is happening here, sir.
Exactly.
And that's what I told Raja Shekharan also. Please do join every empowering morning conversation every morning. This will be the game changer for your life.
Sir, but it is uncomfortable to get up early in the morning, sir.
Well, then you don't get the chicken, you get the just omelette. So enjoy with omelette.
See, there is some discomfort. Changing a habit is uncomfortable, no? So I'm not used to getting up early in the morning, sir. Why, sir? Because I have to sleep late night, sir. But why you're sleeping late night, sir? Because I have to watch my movie in the night, sir. Why don't you watch it earlier, sir? But I come late from the office, sir. So why do you come late from the office, sir? My work is never getting finished in office hours, sir. Then why don't you change your work habit, sir? I'm not able to change my work habit, sir. So that means I cannot change any habit. So I'll be stuck where I am for the rest of my life. Interesting. I like that. All right, guys. Thank you. And take care of yourself. And we will, many of you, we will meet tomorrow morning as usual at 7 a.m. So have a nice night. Enjoy yourself. Have a drink or do whatever it is that you do. Bachelors can do what they do. Married people can do what they do. And you can go to sleep and get up early in the morning. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Stay safe and stay blessed all. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So just curious to know, how have you planned to take, the structure, sir? Like how we did money, would it be a workbook that we'd be following, or is it going to be question answer session? What can we expect the session structure to be, sir?
You will hear 8 boring lectures from me.
Looking
I'm going to
forward to.
pre-record them and you'll have no interaction at all. You have to listen. And then I will send you a workbook. You will have to fill up 200 questions and you must get 80% marks. Otherwise, you will be failed.
That's our default mode, sir. We are all so used to them, thanks to school and college routine. So, what else? What इससे बेहतर क्या हो सकता है, sir? Let us know.
चलो आप आओ तो सही. Lot of self-reflection may be useful, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is what today was supposed to catalyze certain self-reflection. Because this topic is something which can change your life if you want it to. Right? So definitely not going to be a book read like we did the last time.
Okay. Okay.
I promise you that. Okay.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you for asking.
Good night. Yes.
Good night.
Bye.
और इम्तियाज भाई जरा वो आपका एक ग्रुप बना हुआ है दुबई का प्रोग्राम बनाने के लिए, तो कुनैन से बात हो रही थी, आप एक बारी गुफ्तगू करें और देखें क्या होने वाला है. ठीक है.
Okay, मैं अभी आपको कॉल कर लेता हूँ सेशन के बाद.
अच्छा ठीक है, ऐसे कर लेते हैं.
Okay.
All right, fine. Bye.
Bye.